Hello Sir Farid. In this video, I will presenting about the heat treatment analysis. So here are the table of content. The first one is about the introduction to heat treatment. So basically, heat treatment is a control process that involves heating and cooling a material to modify its internal structure, which enhance its mechanical properties, including tensile strength, hardness, toughness, and ductility. And generally, heat treatment is conducted in three stages. The first one is heating, holding, and cooling, with the cooling rate serving as a key parameter in this experiment. So as you can see here in this graph, this is the heat treatment processing route with three different cooling method as our key parameter in this experiment. So the first cooling method is water quenching. The second one is open air cooling, and the third one is furnace cooling. And as you can see here in this figure, this one of the cooling process. The cooling process is water quenching. As you can see, the heated specimen is quenched into water so it's rapidly cooling. So the second one is about the purpose and importance of heat treatment. So as mentioned before, heat treatment is a process of heating and cooling materials, particularly metal, to modify their microstructure and enhance properties such as tensile strength, hardness, and toughness. And this treatment is crucial for metal like steel, as it allows engineers to produce phases like martensite, ferrite, or perlite, each composing to specific mechanical needs. For instance, creating martensitic steels involve rapidly cooling or quenching austenized specimen to produce a harsh, strong yet brittle microstructure that enhance overall mechanical strength. The varying cooling rate within the metal from surface to core lead to different microstructure that result in unique mechanical properties. And the heat treatment process typically involves heating, holding, and cooling stage. And during heating, the metal is raised to a critical temperature, allowing phase change to occur. In the holding stage, the temperature is maintained to stabilize the desired phase across the specimen. And finally, cooling rate managed through quenching media like water, oil, or air directly impact the resulting microstructure. Faster cooling produce further structure, while slower cooling yield more ductile, softer structure, enabling engineers to customize metal properties based on performance need. So this is the phase diagram. So this can be the parameter of the temperature so engineer can compose unique mechanical properties based on this temperature and carbon content of the material. And the third one is about the definition and characteristic of key metallurgical phases and processes. So, in short, uh, there are a lot of terms here, but in short, an austenite or a phase-centered cubic phase is stable above the tectonic temperature, offering excellent ductility. And it's commonly seen in high-strength steel application like automotive part, conversely martensite, from through rapid cooling from the austenitic phase. It's characterized by high hardness due to its very centered tetragonal structure and is ideal for wear-resistant application. Perlite, created through slow cooling, features alternating ferrite and cementite layer, balancing strength and ductility, and is used in structural application. Phases such as ferrite, perlite, and martensite arise due to different cooling method with properties as to their specific engineering use as such as in construction or automotive component. And process, in this case, like annealing and normalizing, are essential for composing metal properties. And annealing itself reduce stress and enhance ductility by slow cooling, allowing for recrystallization, whereas normalizing achieve a uniform fine-grained structure by air cooling from the austenitic range. And quenching itself and tempering further modify properties, with quenching forming hard martensite and tempering reducing brittleness to balance hardness and ductility. And each heat treatment method is essential in producing metals with characteristics required for specific application, from tools to structural components. So that's the elaboration. And here are the working procedure. So the working procedure includes heat treatment. specimen preparation or polishing for hardness test, which is the third step. And the next one is about the detailed specimen. So here are the detailed specimen. This one, the specimen, this all of this specimen is steel, but the first one here is denoted as P, which is the steel P, or the the one with the cooling method, air quenching cooling method. And the A1 is a steel A, denoted as steel A with the cooling method water quenching. And the third one here is steel C with the annealing cooling method. And here are the corresponding dimension, which is the diameter and thickness. And the experimental result here is showing that specimen are treated with water quenching, air quenching, and annealing treatment. Results show that water quench specimen exhibit the highest hardness due to martensite formation, while air quench specimen have moderate hardness with fine perlite, and anneal specimen are softest with coarse perlite or ferrite. This outcome highlight the importance of heat treatment in controlling material properties through microstructure. The next one is about the analysis of heat treatment process. So the heat treatment process follow heating, holding, and cooling stage, beginning at the eutectoid temperature of around 860 degrees Celsius, and specimens are held to allow thermal equilibrium before quenching, air cooling, or annealing. And here are the heat treatment processing route of our treatment experiment. So for specimen A, it's denoted by this blue line is with water quenching method, and the red one is air quenching method denoted as the red line, and the orange line is showing the heat treatment processing route of furnace cooling for specimen C. And a CCT here, the superimpose of each cooling method and CCT diagram aids in understanding the transformation occurring at each cooling stage, where faster cooling rates prevent phase transformation, resulting in martensitic structure. So this the first one is going to be the martensitic structure. This is the specimen A, and while slower cooling for specimen B and C is allow perlite deformation. And variation in cooling lead to distinct mechanical properties in each specimen, critical for applications, require specific strength or ductility level. And the next one is about the comparative behavior of austenite and martensite based on the stress and strain diagram. So this is one of the example from the literature source where the austenitic steel like AISI 34L display high ductility and moderate strength, deforming significantly under stress due to the face center cubic structure, make them suitable for automotive component. And martensitic steel form through rapid quenching exhibit high hardness and strength but low ductility, and this type of steel is ideal for application where wear resistance is paramount, and the stress and strain curve reveal that austenitic steel retain ductility at high temperature, while the martensitic steel maintain strength and hardness. So uh, the austenitic steel is at this temperature upper upper the 800 degrees Celsius, and for the martenitic steel is showing by the lower temperature. So it's for the one the austenitic steel is at the higher is having the higher ductility, while the martensitic steel is having the larger hardness or larger Young's modulus here. And the next one is about the hardness test result and their implication on steel specimen. Hardness testing using the Rockwell in HRA scales highlight differences due to cooling method. Water quench specimen exhibit the highest hardness due to martensitic transformation, while air quench and annealed specimen display moderate and low hardness respectively, correlating with fine and coarse perlite. This relationship between cooling rate and hardness allows engineers to select specific cooling method to meet mechanical requirement for different application, as shown in this graph. And the next one is about the correlation between hardness and tensile strength. Hardness and tensile strength have a direct relationship evident in this figure, uh, where hardness value for different metal align with tensile strength. Among heat-treated specimen, the highest hardness and tensile strength are found in water quench specimen, followed by air quench and annealed specimen, reflecting the proportionality between hardness and tensile strength. So this is the one that untreated specimen is denoted as the sample. If we compare it with annealing or normalizing, so we can show the proportionality with the uh, tensile strength. So the next one is about the influence of heat treatment on microstructure of steel. In this case, the gradual cooling of austenite result of alternating layer of ferrite and cementite, balancing strength and ductility. Fine perlite forms air under air cooling, yielding higher hardness, while furnace cooling produces coarse perlite offering greater ductility. This microstructural variation reflect the different mechanical properties achieved through control cooling, allowing for optimal performance. So the first explanation is about this slow cooling process phase diagram, which for the specimen A is resulting in fine perlite, and the specimen specimen C is resulting in coarser perlite, as shown in this particular phase diagram for slow cooling process. And for the Martensite itself, on the other hand, form true rapid quenching, bypassing the gradual transformation and resulting in a rigid structural, and this type is ideal for high strength application. So the one that in the with the critical cooling rate will resulting a Martensite structure with the mentioned uh, characteristic. So here are the references, and yeah, thank you.